You're not broke because you're bad with money. You're broke because you're playing a game that was never designed for you to win. Right now, someone making $17 an hour is going to fall asleep tonight doing math in their head. Rent, gas, that $40 that has to somehow last until Friday. Here's the part nobody tells you. The reason you can't save isn't just your paycheck. It's 5 invisible forces working against you at the same time. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why saving feels impossible and the specific moves that actually work, even on a low income. Let's say something true out loud that most finance videos won't say. Just save 20% of your income is advice for people who already have money. If you're making minimum wage or close to it, 20% isn't a savings plan. It's a joke, because when almost every dollar is already spoken for, rent, food, transportation, maybe a kid, there is no extra 20% hiding somewhere. Personal finance advice was built by people who've never had to choose between gas and groceries. When you don't have slack in your budget, the whole system breaks. And that gap between the advice and your reality, that's where shame lives. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with the math you were handed. Let's call her Maria. Not her real name, but her story is real. It's the story of millions of Americans. Maria works full-time in retail, making around $16 an hour. That's roughly $2,500 a month before taxes. Call it $2,100 after. Rent for a one-bedroom in her city? Around $1,300. But you know the number in your own city. That leaves about $800 for everything else. Car payment, insurance, gas, phone, food. Then her car needs a $600 repair. She doesn't have $600 saved, so it goes on a credit card at 24% interest. Now, she's not just broke. She's paying extra every month on top of being broke. That $600 repair might actually cost her $750 or more by the time it's paid off. This isn't a Maria problem. This is a millions of Americans problem. Why does this keep happening, even to people genuinely trying? It's a pattern, sometimes called the poverty tax. When you don't have savings, everything costs you more. No emergency fund means every surprise expense goes on a credit card or payday loan. Every dollar you borrow comes back more expensive than it left. The less money you have, the more you pay for the same things. Can't afford a reliable used car? You lease a less reliable one or pay more in repairs on an old one. Can't pay your credit card in full? Interest quietly eats your future paychecks. No $500 set aside? A flat tire isn't an inconvenience. It's an emergency that can spiral into missed rent. Low income doesn't just mean less money coming in, it means a financial life with zero shock absorbers. Every bump hits you directly. And this isn't just stressful, it's exhausting. Constant financial firefighting is linked to anxiety and poor sleep. You're not imagining how heavy this feels. It's designed to feel heavy. Here's the insight that changes everything. On a low income, saving a huge percentage isn't the goal. Interrupting the poverty tax is the goal. Your first job isn't to build wealth. Your first job is to stop paying extra for being broke. A $500 emergency fund can do more for your financial life than a $5,000 investment account. Because without that $500 first, the investment account gets raided, or you go into debt while it just sits there. This is why just start investing is often the wrong first move on a tight income. You build the floor before the ladder. And saving on a low income isn't about willpower. It's about removing decisions. The average person doesn't fail at budgeting because they're lazy. They fail because they're making the same hard financial decision 10 times a day, and decision fatigue wins. The real question isn't how do I have more willpower? It's how do I need less willpower? Step 1. The $500 wall. Before extra debt payments, before investing, target a small emergency fund. Not $10,000, just enough for one bad week. Even $20 a week builds this in under 6 months. It breaks the cycle of borrowing at high interest every time life happens.
Step 2. Automate before you feel it. Set up an automatic transfer of $10 or $20 the day you get paid. Before rent, before anything. Money you never see is money you never miss. Step 3. Audit the silent leaks, not the joy spending. Forget the one coffee a week. The real leaks are forgotten subscriptions, overdraft fees, or a phone plan $30 more than an identical one. These are invisible because they're recurring.
Step 4. Attack the highest interest debt first. The debt charging the most interest is quietly costing you the most every month, even if the balance is small. Pay that down first while covering minimums elsewhere. Step 5. Separate survival money from goal money. 2 envelopes, 2 accounts. The psychological separation matters. Money in one pile feels spendable. Money set apart feels untouchable. Step 6. Look for income side wins, not just cutting. There's a limit to cutting when you're already lean. A schedule change, a new skill, a few hours of side income. On a very low income, growing income is often the bigger lever. None of this is glamorous, but this is how real people, on real paychecks, quietly build a floor under their feet. You are not bad with money. You've been trying to win a game with rules built for people who already had a head start. The goal was never to save 20% overnight. The goal is one $500 wall between you and the next 24% interest charge. That's the whole first mission. Once that wall exists, everything gets quieter. A flat tire is just a flat tire again, not a crisis. Small, boring, automatic decisions repeated over time, that's the actual formula. It was never about willpower. It was about designing your money so you don't need willpower at all. If this video helped you see your money differently, that's exactly why this channel exists. Subscribe to DollarWise, because next time we're breaking down another money myth quietly working against you. I'll see you in the next one.